Hello, we're continuing with our winter garland this week, and this time we're going to go for skates and flakes. So the first part is going to be making these adorable little skates. My friend Joyce made these skates for me one Christmas, and then I decided to make some more and show you how to do it, thanks to Joyce. So what do we need to make our lovely little skates to add on there? So you can make them out of felt, that's what these ones are done. So you can make them out of felt if you want to, but you can also make them out of cardboard. If you don't have any felt, don't worry. Any colour will do of those, and you can make them out of card. Either way, this is relatively thin card that you can bend around. If you only had white card, you'd have to do a bit more in the decorating stakes, but it's up to you which one you want to do. So we're going to need to have some felt or some card. Either way, we are going to need some card because we need to make a template. So we're going to need card. This could be cereal box card or anything for the template. Nice card if you're doing that. We're going to need matching thread. So I'm going to make some purple ones today, so I've got purple thread. We're going to also need some embroidery thread for the embellishing. If you're making it out of card, you will need the white pen that we had before, or a felt tip pen of your choice of colour. If you're going to be doing the sewn one, you're going to need some embroidery thread and the corresponding needles. You need a little bead if you want to, that's optional. And the most important thing is we need our skates, and our skates are paper clips. The bigger the better. I'm going to show you how to make your template, whatever size paper clip you get, but these ones are actually 5 centimetres long, and I think that they're pretty ideal. So those are a good way of doing it, and I will show you all those things on the other camera. So here are our skates a little bit closer up. Okay, so we are going to make a little template first of all, and the template needs to look like this. So that's on cardboard box card, and that's going to show you what you need. What you need to do is get your paper clip and you need to measure it. That's 5 centimetres long. Now that's going to be the length in the middle there. So you need to measure your paper clip, and whatever that length is, draw a line in the middle of your card that's the same length there. But it's not exactly the same. You need to be 1/2 centimetre less. So because this paper clip is 5 centimetres, that length there is 4.5 centimetres. Then you need to draw yourself a skate double. Now the easiest way to make it exactly the same, of course, is to fold it and then draw like that. So you would have drawn your line, folded it in half, and then drawn a skate, and be happy with that. Now before you go crazy with cutting loads of things out, you need to check that this will fit inside your skate. So using this part of the paper clip at this point, the easier opening part, you just need to slip that inside like that, so that you can just check that your skate is the right size. So it's going to be going like that. Now mess about to get that template, making sure it's looking like that the double way, making sure it looks exactly like that so that you can get it, because it's really key to make sure you've got that right and that your paper clip will easily fit into there, and you can see that like that. And when you've done that, you then need to get your felt, put that down and draw around it and cut it out, and then you will end up with this, and this is your skate shape. So fold it in half, make sure that it's the same, give it a little trim if you need to do that, and then we're going to get on with making it. So the first thing we're going to do is decorate it while it's there. So you can decide how you want to decorate it. The original one that Joyce gave me was not decorated at all, and that's absolutely fine if that's what you want. If you do want to decorate it, you need to do it now. So embroidery thread comes in 6 strands, and you need to separate it. I do this on an earlier video. You can often use your mouse to separate this. So go back onto one of the sewing ones and I will show you how to separate it like that. And sometimes you need to use your mouse. I've separated it into 3 strands today because I want it to still look quite thick, and see it, but not totally thick. So I'm starting with 3 strands and I've tied a knot on one end. And I'm going to come up and just do a simple star. That's what I've decided to do on this one. So I've done a simple star. I'm going to go up and down, and I would not worry too much about making this totally accurate. I would just freehand it. If you need to look back, there is a whole section of videos that are showing you how to sew really basic stitches for the first time. So you could look back at that, but you can just keep it really simple. You could add French knots if they weren't the devil's work. So if you want to do that, please add a French knot. I'm not going to do that today. If you want to know why I hate French knots, you can look back at the other video as well. I'm not the only person. Now, when I get here and I have drawn my little, or not drawn at all, sewn my little star, snowflake starry shape, I'm not going to cut it off. You could if you wanted to, but I'm just going to take this thread right the way across and start my other one on the other side. If you look back at the original ones, I actually haven't decorated both sides because when it's hung up on the garland, because my garland is against a wall, I'm not actually seeing the one that's behind, and I'm not seeing the other side. But if you're going to be hanging it up and it's likely to twirl like that, you can decorate both sides. It's absolutely up to you. And so we're going to do that, and we're going to make our flake on both sides. Okay, I'm not going to do that for you now because you can see where we are, how that's done. Don't do that where I've just cut it because that'll come. That's just because I'm demonstrating and you know how to tie a knot. You don't need to watch me. So once we've got our little star here, before we sew this together, we are going to have to just do something. So this time I've kept with 6 strands. So all 6 strands put through there. It's a little bit tricky to put all 6 strands through. If it's driving you crazy, just do less than that. We're going to come to this part here, the bottom of the skate, because what I'm doing is the bit that looks like the laces. And I want you to tie a big knot in the end and then pull that through. You're leaving a little space there, the same space that you want your skate to look. So you're leaving a space about 1/2 centimetre, coming through, pulling your needle off and leaving that so that it's just going to hang there now out of the way. Okay, it's just hanging right back like that. Just leave there. I've realised that I didn't tell you need some toy stuffing. If you want to have nice fat skates like that, you will need a little bit of toy stuffing inside. Now, if you're doing the cardboard ones, you can do all of your decorating beforehand if you want to, or you can do it in a moment. Either way, this is going to be the same section that we've got to here, because you need to put in your skate now. Now, if you put in your skate like we did at the beginning like that, it will slip out. It's the easiest way to get it to go in when you do it like that, but it might come out. You can make it go further by slipping your skate inside the other part in here so that it's coming right inside. To be honest, this is easier with the felt one because the felt will go in a little bit with that one, but it really depends on how you want it to look. You need your skate to be in at this stage. Don't sew it up and then realise the skate isn't in there, because that's going to be really annoying. So make sure you've got the skate in, make sure you put it in either way, decide how you're happy, and now we're going to sew it together. And this is changing to this kind of cotton, just sewing machine cotton that's extremely thin, because you do not want to see this. Again, I've put a knot on there and we are going to go inside. Now I'm starting here for sewing at the bottom of this side of the skate. It's just the easiest way to do that. So I want the knot on the inside where I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to pull it around like that, and then I am going to just simply over sew. Oh, I don't want to see that bit poke in. I'm going to simply over sew. Now the reason we use the same coloured thread is because it virtually disappears when you do this. It's going to disappear completely as you go round. So it doesn't matter if your sewing is untidy, and you will have gone all the way around. When you get to the top part there, you can just pull your thread across and go round, so you don't have to tie it off and back on again. This will have been out of the way. You will have kept this long thread out of the way. You know, when you were sewing it around, just keep holding that one away, make sure it's out of the way and you don't sew over it. And now we're going to add our laces. So we've already put that in, and the knot is already on the inside where we're not going to see it. And we're just going to sew over so that the laces look like that. So just keep going, keep sewing it over until you've got your laces exactly how you want them. Make them go all the way up. Oh, sometimes that happens and you just need to pull it down. Make them go all the way up and then be at the top so that you've got the top part. Now I would tie that off and leave a little knot inside and have a different thread. So I'm just going to cut that for you now, but you can carefully over sew or finish that off any way you want. And now you can stuff that. You probably need to use a pencil or a chopstick if you've got that to push the toy stuffing down into there. Okay, you'll notice that one doesn't have a paper clip in. That's just because I was using that for demonstration. That's absolutely not what you're going to do. If you're doing it with your piece of card like that, you're going to add, so here we are, we're now going to glue all the way around here. So just get your glue stick out, glue around and follow that like that, and then you can decorate it before or after. And I've drawn on the laces. If you want to get a sharp needle and put thread through, that's fine. When we've got our lace, we put another thread through the top and tie it in the exact same way that you would your shoelaces. Just make sure that that's tied like that. The hanging loop has a little bead on it, and that's just for fancy. It's not necessary. I just thought it looked cute. So you can have that like that, hanging up and looking beautiful. I hope you enjoy making those skates. So here are our lovely little skates, all made, ready to add to our garland. Okay, we have somebody here who is definitely admiring those little skates and helping us with our crafting today. So for the last part of your garland, you might also want to add some flakes to your skates. These ones have been made with glue gun, and you have to draw with the glue gun, which is tricky. You just have to practice using the trigger. What you do is you do it onto baking paper, so just ordinary baking paper, and you do draw out the best that you can, and you just need to practice. I do it on a video a bit further back, so you need to look back at the Halloween one where I was doing that, but this time I've used a white glue stick, or of course a clear glue stick. Okay, somebody's playing with the beads there. So there are our flakes, number one. We've already done our lovely paper flake that look like that. So that's the other flake that we can add on there. And the last one is this one, which is fiddly and does require a bit more equipment. You can buy these metal blanks and thread beads on. To stop them falling off the end, you can either bend it around with your pliers or put a knob of hot glue on the end, and that will stop that. That just takes equipment and a little bit more to add those flakes on there. I will see you next week, and we won't be doing our winter garland anymore. We'll be moving on to something else. So here is the winter garland with everything on in its finished form, with its skates, flakes, snowmen, jumpers and tiny hats.